A wheelchair-bound millionaire, accustomed to controlling everything with logic and technology, laughed when two street girls said they could cure him. Even so, touched by something he couldn't explain, he decided to adopt them and make room for the improbable. One night he heard the twins whispering strange words as they held his feet, and something extraordinary happened. If this story interested you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tell us what city you're watching us from. We'll keep going. The sleek wheelchair glided silently across the polished marble floor of William Thorne's mansion in Palo Alto. The December sun filtered through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the minimalist space that Forbes magazine had once described as the perfect blend of luxury and technological innovation. At 52, William had built Thornecore into one of Silicon Valley's most valuable companies, with innovations that had changed how the world interacted with technology. The Henderson Foundation Gala begins at 7. "Mr. Thorne," said Eleanor Reed, adjusting her rimless glasses as she followed her boss through the vast living room. "Your speech is scheduled for 8:15, and I've prepared notes on key donors you should approach." William barely acknowledged her words with a slight nod. Eleanor had been his executive assistant for 15 years, the only person who had stayed by his side through the meteoric rise of Thornecore. She managed his life with meticulous precision, anticipating his needs before he could articulate them. "Have Dr. Lambert's reports arrived?" William asked, navigating his wheelchair toward his home office. "Yes, sir. I've placed them on your desk," Eleanor replied, her voice maintaining its professional tone despite the disappointment she knew those reports would bring. The experimental treatments William had been undergoing for the past year had shown no improvement in his condition. Paralysis from the waist down, a condition he'd been born with. William had exhausted every medical option, consulted specialists worldwide, and funded research labs dedicated to neurological regeneration. His logical, analytical mind refused to accept that there was no solution. As a man who had built an empire by solving impossible technological problems, the failure to solve his own physical limitation was his greatest frustration. "The invitation list for the gala includes 3 potential board members for the foundation," Eleanor continued. "I've highlighted their profiles." William swiveled his chair to face her. "I'm not interested in networking tonight. This is purely obligatory." Eleanor knew better than to argue. William attended the annual Henderson Foundation Gala for children's welfare because it was expected of him as a major donor, not out of any personal connection to the cause. His philanthropy was strategic, calculated, like everything else in his life. Later that evening, William sat in his custom-tailored tuxedo as his chauffeur drove him to the Four Seasons Hotel. Eleanor had arranged everything down to the minute: which entrance would accommodate his wheelchair most discreetly, which table had been modified for his comfort, which staff members had been briefed on his preferences. "Your scheduled appearance is for 3 hours, Eleanor reminded him from the seat beside him, "though I can create an emergency call if you wish to leave earlier." William looked out at the passing lights of Silicon Valley. "That won't be necessary. I've survived worse." The gala was predictably elegant, with crystal chandeliers illuminating Silicon Valley's wealthiest philanthropists. William navigated the crowd with practiced ease, accepting handshakes and deflecting personal questions with brief, non-committal responses. As Thornecore's founder and CEO, he was accustomed to being approached by investors, entrepreneurs, and journalists. His disability was never mentioned directly, though he noticed the subtle adjustments people made when speaking to him. The slight bend at the waist, the careful distance maintained. He had just finished a tedious conversation with a venture capitalist when Olivia Carson, the Henderson Foundation's director, approached with a warm smile. "William, thank you for coming. Your continued support means everything to these children." William nodded politely. "The foundation does good work. There's someone I'd like you to meet," Olivia said, gesturing toward the back of the ballroom. "We have some new arrivals to our adoption program." William suppressed a sigh. He had no interest in meeting children, especially those who would stare at his wheelchair with unfiltered curiosity, or worse, pity. But before he could formulate an excuse, Olivia had already turned, expecting him to follow. In a quieter corner of the ballroom, away from the main crowd, stood a social worker named Margaret Phillips. Beside her were 2 small figures that made William pause, identical twin girls, perhaps 6 years old, with copper-colored hair falling in identical waves around serious faces. They wore matching blue dresses that seemed slightly too large for their thin frames. "This is Mr. Thorne," Margaret said to the girls. "He helps support the foundation that's been taking care of you." William expected the usual reactions: shyness, uncertainty, or the awkward questions children typically asked about his wheelchair. Instead, both girls tilted their heads at precisely the same angle and studied him with identical amber eyes that seemed too knowing for their age. "Mr. Thorne, these are Lily and Emma Spencer," Margaret continued. "They joined our program last month." William nodded briefly, preparing the polite but distant greeting he used in such situations. But before he could speak, both girls stepped forward in perfect synchronization and said in unison, "We can help you." Their voices were soft but clear, the timing so perfect it seemed rehearsed. William felt an unexpected chill at the base of his spine. "I'm sorry," Margaret said quickly. "The girls sometimes say unusual things. They've had a difficult journey." "What do you mean, help me?" William found himself asking, surprising even himself with his interest. The twins exchanged a glance so swift and communicative it seemed like telepathy. Then one of them, William couldn't tell which, spoke alone. "You're blocked." "Not broken?" The other continued. "Your legs remember how to walk. They just forgot how to listen." Margaret placed protective hands on the girl's shoulders. "I apologize, Mr. Thorne. The girls lived with their mother until about 3 months ago. She had unconventional beliefs about healing. They're remarkably articulate for their age," William observed, his analytical mind already processing this unusual encounter. "Yes," Margaret agreed with a hint of unease. "They're quite advanced cognitively, though their social adjustment has been challenging. They've been in 3 foster homes already. Their synchronized speech and some of their behaviors make people uncomfortable." William studied the girls more carefully. There was something compelling about their steadfast gaze, the way they stood so still and certain in a room full of movement and noise. "What happened to their mother?" he asked quietly. Margaret hesitated. "A sudden illness. She was their only family, a single mother who worked as a nurse's aide while studying alternative medicine." The girls were found alone, taking shelter under a highway overpass. They'd been there for days, protecting each other. William felt a strange tug of empathy he rarely experienced. "And now? We're seeking the right adoptive placement," Margaret explained. "But it's challenging to find a home willing to take older twins, especially with their uniqueness." As they spoke, William noticed one of the twins had pulled a folded paper from her pocket. She unfolded it carefully and held it out to him. It was a drawing of a house, not a child's typical square with a triangle roof, but a detailed rendering of a modernist structure with geometric lines and extensive windows. With a shock, William recognized his own home, the mansion he had specifically designed to accommodate his wheelchair, while showcasing his appreciation for contemporary architecture. In the drawing, 3 figures stood in front, a tall man standing upright, and 2 small girls holding hands beside him. "How did you?" he began. "We saw it," both girls said together, then fell silent again. Margaret looked confused. The girls draw constantly. They're quite talented, but sometimes the subject matter is unusual. William couldn't take his eyes off the drawing. The man in it was standing, something he had never done in his life. The detail of his home was precise, down to the specific arrangement of windows and the Japanese maple tree he'd had planted near the entrance. "Mr. Thorne," Olivia interrupted, appearing at his side. "Your speech is in 10 minutes. William nodded absently, still holding the drawing. "Yes, of course." As he turned his wheelchair to follow Olivia, he heard the twins speak once more in their eerie unison. "We'll be waiting." For 3 days, William couldn't shake the twins from his thoughts. He kept the drawing in his desk drawer, occasionally taking it out to study the precision of details no 6-year-old should know about his secluded home. Even more unsettling was the image of himself standing, something he had never experienced in his lifetime of paralysis. During a video conference with Tokyo investors, he found himself distracted, his mind returning to the girls' synchronized voices. "We can help you." As a man of science and logic, William dismissed supernatural claims and miracle cures as exploitative fantasies. Yet something about the twins' directness, had bypassed his usual skepticism. "Eleanor," he called through the mansion's integrated communication system after ending his meeting. She appeared in his office doorway moments later, tablet in hand. "Yes, Mr. Thorne. I need information on 2 children from the Henderson Foundation. Twins named Lily and Emma Spencer." Eleanor's perfectly shaped eyebrows rose slightly, the most surprise she ever showed. "May I ask why?" "Professional curiosity," William replied, a response that typically ended Eleanor's questions. "I'll see what I can find," she said, making a note on her tablet. "Would you like me to contact Olivia Carson directly?" William considered this. "No, use more discreet channels first." Eleanor nodded and left, her heels clicking rhythmically across the hardwood floors. William turned his wheelchair toward the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Silicon Valley. The rational part of his brain insisted he was being foolish, wasting time on a strange coincidence. Yet the drawing in his desk seemed to challenge everything he understood about reality. By evening, Eleanor had compiled a preliminary report. The Spencer twins were found by Highway Patrol 3 months ago, sheltering under an overpass near Oakland after their mother's passing. Before that, they lived in a small apartment in Berkeley where their mother, Catherine Spencer, worked at an alternative medicine clinic while studying nursing. And the father? Unknown. No father is listed on their birth certificates. William scrolled through the digital file Eleanor had prepared. 3 foster homes in 3 months? Yes, Eleanor confirmed. The reports cite adjustment difficulties. The twins speak in unison, often say things that disturb the foster parents, and insist on being together at all times. One report mentions them drawing unusual symbols repeatedly. Spirals, circles, eyes. William stopped scrolling at a photo of Catherine Spencer, a woman with the same copper hair as her daughters, standing outside a small storefront with healing pathways painted on the window. "There's more," Eleanor continued. Catherine Spencer was known locally for what she called energy healing. Several clients claimed remarkable recoveries after her treatments, though nothing medically verified. She kept detailed journals about her work, which are now in the twins' possession. William's logical mind began formulating hypotheses. Perhaps the girls had seen his house in a magazine or online. Perhaps they'd overheard adults discussing his condition. There would be a rational explanation for everything, there always was. "I want to meet them again," he said suddenly. Eleanor's composure slipped. The twins, why? Arrange a meeting. Through proper channels, of course. A supervised visit. Eleanor studied him with the careful attention she'd developed over 15 years. "William," she said, using his first name, something she did only in rare moments of personal concern. "What's this about?" He met her gaze directly. "I'm not sure yet, but I intend to find out." 2 days later, Margaret Phillips brought the twins to William's mansion for an approved visit. Eleanor had prepared the formal living room, setting out children's books and art supplies on a low table. William noticed her skepticism as she arranged water glasses and a plate of cookies with mathematical precision. When the doorbell rang, Eleanor moved to answer it, but William gestured for her to stay. "I'll greet them," he said, maneuvering his wheelchair toward the entrance. Margaret stood on the doorstep holding the twins' hands. They wore identical yellow dresses today, their copper hair braided identically down their backs. When they saw William, their serious expressions didn't change, but something in their amber eyes seemed to brighten. "Mr. Thorne, thank you for inviting us," Margaret said. "It's unusual, but the Foundation appreciates your interest in our children. Please, come in," William replied, backing his wheelchair to make space in the doorway. The twins stepped inside and immediately looked up at the high ceiling, then exchanged a glance that seemed to contain an entire conversation. "Your house is quiet on the outside, but loud inside. One of them, Emma," William thought, had said. "The walls remember arguments," Lily continued. Margaret laughed nervously. "The girls have vivid imaginations." William led them to the living room, where Eleanor waited with a professional smile. "This is Ms. Reed, my executive assistant," he introduced. "Hello," Eleanor said, her voice warm but reserved. The twins studied her with the same unsettling intensity they'd directed at William during their first meeting. "You're the guardian," they said together. Eleanor's smile faltered. "I manage Mr. Thorne's schedule." "No," Emma said. "You guard his heart." An uncomfortable silence followed until Margaret intervened. "Girls, Why don't you show Mr. Thorne some of your drawings? I brought your sketchbooks." As the twins settled at the low table and opened their identical sketchbooks, William wheeled closer. The pages revealed intricate patterns, spirals within spirals, concentric circles divided by straight lines, pairs of eyes connected by thread-like lines. "What are these?" William asked. "Energy maps," Lily answered simply. "Our mother taught us how to see them," Emma added. "See what?" William pressed. "The currents," they replied in unison. Then Emma pointed to William's legs. "Yours are blocked here and here." Her finger traced invisible lines from his lower spine to his feet. Margaret intervened. "Mr. Thorne, I should mention that the girls often repeat things their mother taught them about energy healing. It was her belief system." William nodded, but his attention remained on the twins. "What do you mean by blocked?" The girls exchanged another of their telepathic glances. Lily stood and walked to William's wheelchair. Before Margaret could stop her, she placed a small hand on William's knee, a part of his body that had never felt touch. "May I?" she asked. Intrigued despite himself, William nodded. The child closed her eyes, her face taking on a concentration that seemed beyond her years. After a moment, she opened her eyes and looked directly into William's. "The path is still there," she said simply. "Just sleeping." Emma joined her sister. "Our mother helped a man like you." He walked again. Margaret stood quickly. "Girls, that's enough. Remember what we discussed about respecting boundaries." But William raised a hand. "It's all right. I'm interested in what they have to say." Eleanor, who had been silently observing, stepped forward. "Mr. Thorne, you have a conference call in 15 minutes. William recognized her intervention for what it was, an attempt to end an interaction she found disturbing. "Reschedule it," he said without looking away from the twins. "William," Eleanor said quietly, the rare use of his first name carrying a warning. He ignored her. "Your mother helped someone with paralysis?" The twins nodded in perfect synchronization. "But it made her very tired," Lily said. "She gave too much of herself," Emma continued. "And then she went away," they finished together. Margaret cleared her throat. "Mr. Thorne, while we appreciate your interest, I should clarify that there is no medical evidence supporting any of Catherine Spencer's healing claims. The girls are processing their loss through the belief system they were raised in." William nodded, but he couldn't dismiss the strange certainty in the twins' eyes. "Of course, I understand." As the visit continued, William observed the twins drawing, their hands moving in mirror image patterns across separate pages, creating identical images without looking at each other's work. When they spoke to him, they alternated sentences as if sharing a single thought process. When they moved around his home, they noticed details most adults would miss, running their fingers over a nearly invisible seam in the custom-designed wall panels, pausing at doorways that led to rooms William rarely entered. "This room is sad," they said outside his master bedroom. "You sleep but don't rest." Eleanor, who had remained watchful throughout the visit, exchanged a glance with William. He had suffered from insomnia for years, a private struggle known only to her and his doctor. As the scheduled hour came to an end, Margaret began gathering the twins' belongings. "Thank you for your hospitality, Mr. Thorne. The girls have enjoyed their visit." William found himself reluctant to see them leave. "Mr. Phillips, would it be possible to arrange another visit, perhaps with a longer time frame?" Margaret appeared surprised. "That's unusual but not impossible. May I ask what your interest is?" William formulated a plausible explanation. "The Henderson Foundation's work interests me. I'm considering increasing my involvement, perhaps with a specific focus on children with unique needs." Eleanor's slight intake of breath was audible only to William, who knew she recognized the lie. In 15 years, he had never expressed interest in directly engaging with the Foundation's beneficiaries. "I'll speak with the director," Margaret promised. "She'll be pleased to hear of your interest." As they prepared to leave, Emma approached William once more. "We can come back," she said softly. "We can help," Lily added. "If you want us to," they finished together. William found himself nodding. "Yes," he said, "I think I would like that." Within 2 weeks, William had arranged temporary guardianship of the Spencer twins. The decision shocked Silicon Valley's inner circles, though the public announcement cited only his commitment to children's welfare and the Henderson Foundation's mission. Behind closed doors, Eleanor had questioned his judgment with the directness only she was permitted. "You've never shown interest in children, William. Now you're bringing two into your home? Children with documented behavioral issues?" William had no logical explanation that would satisfy her. "Consider it a new venture," he'd said finally. Now, as Eleanor oversaw the preparation of adjacent bedrooms for the twins, William met with Dr. Nathan Calloway, his personal physician for over a decade. "You wanted to discuss your condition?" Dr. Calloway asked, opening his laptop in William's home office. "Yes, I'd like a comprehensive reevaluation," William replied. "Every test, every scan," Dr. Calloway frowned. "We completed a full assessment just 3 months ago. There were no changes, William. The congenital neural pathway disruption remains consistent with previous findings." "Humor me," William insisted, "and I'd like to explore any new research, experimental or otherwise." "This isn't like you," Dr. Calloway observed. "You've always been pragmatic about your condition. Has something changed?" William considered mentioning the twins, their strange comments about his blockage, but held back. Nathan was a man of strict scientific principles who would dismiss their observations as childish fantasy. "Just covering all bases," William replied. "Schedule the tests for next week." After the doctor left, William wheeled himself through the east wing where the children's rooms were being prepared. Eleanor was directing household staff with her usual efficiency, overseeing the delivery of child-sized furniture and appropriate books. William noted that despite her reservations, she had researched and selected items specifically suited for 6-year-old girls. "The rooms look good," William commented. Eleanor turned, her expression carefully neutral. "I've arranged for a child psychologist to visit tomorrow. Given the girl's history, professional support seems advisable." "Thank you," William said, recognizing her concern as legitimate. "And what about you, Eleanor? How do you feel about this arrangement?" She paused, considering her words carefully as she always did. "I'm concerned about your motivations, William. These children have experienced significant trauma. If your interest is merely experimental, they could be hurt." Her insight was uncomfortable but accurate. William hadn't fully examined his own reasons for bringing the twins into his home. Was it their strange synchronicity that fascinated him? Their claims about his condition? Or perhaps something deeper? A connection he couldn't rationalize? "I'll be careful," he promised. "See that you are," Eleanor replied, her tone softening slightly. "Children aren't technology. They can't be debugged or reprogrammed." The twins arrived the following afternoon, their possessions fitting into 2 small, identical backpacks. Margaret Phillips accompanied them, along with Olivia Carson from the Henderson Foundation. "This is highly unusual," Olivia reminded William as they signed the temporary guardianship papers in his study. "Normally there would be months of home studies and preparation." "I understand," William replied. "But your foundation has thoroughly vetted me as a donor for years. My resources ensure the girls will receive excellent care." "Resources aren't everything, Mr. Thorne," Olivia said carefully. "These particular children need stability and understanding." "They'll have both," William assured her. When the paperwork was complete, Margaret knelt before the twins. "Remember what we discussed? This is a temporary stay with Mr. Thorne. Be respectful and follow Ms. Reed's instructions." The girls nodded simultaneously but said nothing. Their silence, William had learned, could be as unsettling as their synchronized speech. After Margaret and Olivia departed, an awkward moment followed as William, Eleanor, and the twins regarded each other in the vast foyer of the mansion. "Would you like to see your rooms?" Eleanor finally asked. The twins looked at each other, then at William. "Yes, please," they answered together. Eleanor led them upstairs, using the elevator installed beside the grand staircase for William's use. The girls' rooms were adjacent, decorated identically with blue walls, white furniture, and built-in bookshelves. A connecting door allowed movement between them. "Do you like them?" William asked, watching their expressions carefully. The twins walked the perimeter of one room, touching the walls, looking out the windows at the garden below. "They're very blue," Lily observed. "Like the sky before rain," Emma added. "Is that good?" Eleanor asked. The twins shrugged simultaneously. "We've never had separate rooms," Lily explained. "We always share," Emma continued. William exchanged a glance with Eleanor. "You can keep the connecting door open," he offered. "Or you can share one room if you prefer." The twins considered this. having one of their silent conversations through eye contact. Separate is okay, Lily decided. As long as we're close, Emma finished. That evening, dinner was a quiet affair. The twins ate methodically, taking identical bites, drinking water at the same time. William found himself fascinated by their mirrored movements, while Eleanor maintained polite conversation, asking about their preferences and establishing a routine. "Do you have any questions about living here?" William asked as dessert was served. The twins looked at him with their unsettling amber gaze. "When do we start?" they asked in unison. "Start what?" Eleanor inquired. "Helping," Emma clarified, glancing at William's legs. Eleanor's expression tightened. "Mr. Thorne has excellent doctors and therapists," she said firmly. "He doesn't need—" "Eleanor," William interrupted gently. "It's all right." He turned to the twins. "I'm curious about what you think you can do. Perhaps you could explain it to me." The twins set down their spoons in perfect synchronization. "Our mother taught us about energy pathways," Lily began. "When they're blocked, people get sick," Emma continued. "Or parts of them sleep," Lily added. "Like your legs," they concluded together. Eleanor was visibly uncomfortable, but William leaned forward, intrigued. "And you believe you can unblock these pathways?" The twins nodded. "Our mother could do it," Emma said. "She showed us how," Lily added. "But it made her very tired," they said together, their expressions solemn. William considered their words carefully. As a rational man, he didn't believe in energy healing or spiritual cures, yet something about the twins' certainty gave him pause. What if there was something to their claims, some undiscovered biological mechanism that their mother had stumbled upon through trial and error? "Perhaps we could try," he said finally. "Under supervision, of course." "William," Eleanor interjected, her tone warning. "As an experiment," William clarified, meeting her concerned gaze. "Nothing invasive or harmful." After dinner, Eleanor helped the twins prepare for bed while William made phone calls in his office. When she returned, her expression was troubled. "They want to tell you good night," she said. "But William, I need to say something first." He nodded, recognizing her serious tone. "These girls believe something their mother taught them, something without scientific basis. If you encourage this belief only to dismiss it later, you'll damage them. They've already lost everything familiar. Don't give them false hope or use them for whatever this is." William considered her words. Eleanor rarely spoke so directly, and never without reason. "I understand your concern," he said finally, "but what if there's something to their claims? Some physiological response we don't understand yet." "Then let Dr. Calloway study it properly," Eleanor insisted. "Don't experiment on traumatized children." William nodded slowly. "You're right. I'll be careful." Eleanor's expression softened slightly. "They're extraordinary children, William. Whatever brought them here, treat them with the care they deserve." When William entered the twins' rooms to say goodnight, he found them sitting cross-legged on one bed, facing each other, their small hands pressed palm to palm between them. They looked up simultaneously as his wheelchair crossed the threshold. "What are you doing?" he asked gently. "Balancing," they answered together. "Our mother taught us," Lily explained. "Before sleep," Emma added. William nodded, though he didn't understand. "Eleanor says you wanted to tell me good night." The twins slid off the bed and approached his wheelchair. Without hesitation, they each placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your house is happier now," Lily said. "It was lonely before," Emma continued. "Like you," they finished together. William felt an unexpected tightness in his throat. How had these children perceived something he'd never acknowledged to himself? His mansion, filled with cutting-edge technology and luxury, had always been a showcase rather than a home. "Good night, Mr. Thorne," the twins said, returning to their bed. "Good night," he replied. "And you can call me William." Later that night, unable to sleep, William reviewed security footage from the twins' rooms, an action that made him uncomfortable, but that his logical mind justified as necessary, monitoring of children with unusual behaviors. The cameras showed the twins sleeping in separate beds, but in identical positions, facing each other across the open connecting doorway, their breathing synchronized even in sleep. As he watched, William felt a strange certainty growing within him. Whatever brought these children into his life wasn't mere coincidence. Whether their energy healing was real or imagined, The twins had already changed something in his carefully constructed world. The mansion felt different with them in it, as if some long dormant circuit had finally been connected. The first signs of change appeared 3 weeks after the twins' arrival. William woke at dawn, startled by a dream he couldn't remember. As consciousness returned, he felt a strange tingling in his right foot, a sensation where there had never been sensation before. He stared at the foot, watching with disbelief as his big toe twitched slightly. Reaching for his phone, he called Eleanor, who answered immediately despite the early hour. "I need you to come to my room," he said, his voice unusually tense, "and bring the twins." 15 minutes later, Eleanor arrived with Lily and Emma, both still in matching pajamas, their copper hair tousled from sleep. "What's happening?" Eleanor asked, her concern evident. William pulled back his blanket, exposing his legs. "Watch," he said, concentrating intensely. After a moment, his toe moved again, a tiny movement but unmistakable. Eleanor's hand flew to her mouth. "How is that possible?" The twins showed no surprise. They approached the bed and looked at William's feet with clinical interest. "The pathway is waking up," they said together. "What did you do?" William asked them, his scientific mind searching for explanations while trying to process this seemingly impossible development. The twins exchanged their cryptic glance. "We started while you were sleeping," Lily explained. 3 nights ago," Emma added. "We didn't ask because you were afraid," they concluded in unison. Eleanor stepped forward. "You did what? How did you get into his room at night?" "The security system should have alerted them to any nighttime movements," William thought. He had specifically programmed it to monitor the twins' locations. "We didn't come in," Emma said simply. "We worked from our room," Lily continued. "Distance doesn't matter for energy," they finished together. William's rational mind rebelled against their explanation, yet the evidence was before him, movement where there had been none for 52 years. "We need to call Dr. Calloway," he said to Eleanor. Within hours, Dr. Calloway arrived, bringing portable equipment to measure neural activity. His skepticism was evident as William explained what had happened. "A spontaneous neural response isn't unheard of," the doctor said cautiously. "But it's extremely rare in cases of congenital paralysis." The examination lasted over an hour. Dr. Calloway attached sensors to William's legs and monitored readings while asking him to attempt various movements. The toe movement repeated, small but definite. "There's minimal but present neural activity," Dr. Calloway confirmed, studying the readings with a furrowed brow. "It's centered in the right foot for now, but the pattern is unusual." "Meaning?" William pressed. "Meaning it doesn't follow the typical pattern of spontaneous recovery. The signal strength fluctuates in a rhythmic way I haven't seen before." He glanced at the twins, who sat quietly in the corner of the room, watching the proceedings with their unsettling amber eyes. "You mentioned they claim to have influenced this?" William nodded. "They say they've been working on my energy pathways while I sleep." Dr. Calloway's expression made his opinion of this explanation clear. "William, you know as well as I do that there's no scientific basis for energy healing. What we're seeing is likely a spontaneous neural regeneration, possibly triggered by recent changes in your routine or environment." "I want to try something," William said. "Girls, would you come here, please?" The twins approached the bed where William sat with sensors still attached to his legs. "Can you show Dr. Calloway what you do?" William asked them. They looked at each other, then at the doctor, clearly assessing his skepticism. "We need to touch," Lily said finally. "Both feet," Emma added. Dr. Calloway sighed but nodded. "I'll continue monitoring the readings." The twins positioned themselves on either side of William's legs and placed their small hands on his feet, Lily on the right, Emma on the left. They closed their eyes, their expressions shifting to a concentration that seemed beyond their years. William felt it immediately, a warmth spreading from their touch, a tingling that intensified until it bordered on discomfort. Dr. Calloway's eyes widened as he watched the monitor. "Neural activity is increasing," he said, his voice betraying his surprise. "Not just in the right foot now, but the left as well." After several minutes, the twins removed their hands simultaneously. "That's enough for today," they said together. "The pathways need time to remember," Lily explained. "Too fast is dangerous," Emma added. Dr. Calloway stared at the readings, then at the twins. "This is unprecedented. Can you explain it? Eleanor asked, speaking for the first time since the examination began. The doctor shook his head slowly. Scientifically? Though the neural pathways William was born without seem to be regenerating somehow. But that should be physiologically impossible. After Dr. Calloway left, promising to return with more sophisticated equipment, William remained in his bedroom with Eleanor and the twins. You knew this would happen, he said to the girls. It wasn't a question. They nodded together. We saw it, Emma said. In our drawing, Lily added. But will it continue? William asked. Will I actually be able to walk? The twins exchanged their silent communication. Yes, they answered finally. But it will take time. And energy, they added after a pause, their expressions growing serious. Eleanor, who had been silently processing everything, finally spoke. What do you mean by energy? The twins looked at her with their penetrating gaze. Energy comes from somewhere, Emma explained. It has to be given, Lily continued. When our mother helped the man walk again, she gave too much, they said together, their voices dropping. She got very tired. Then she went away. William understood the implication immediately. You're saying your mother became ill after healing someone? The twins nodded solemnly. And you think the same could happen to you? Eleanor asked, her concern evident. We're careful, Emma assured them. We share the work, Lily added. But yes, it takes from us, they concluded together. William felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. The movement in his toes suddenly seemed less miraculous and more troubling. Then we stop, he said firmly. I won't risk your health. The twins shook their heads in perfect synchronization. We want to help, they insisted. It's why we came to you, Emma said. We saw you in our dreams before we met, Lily explained. Mother said we would find someone important to help, they finished together. Eleanor stepped forward. Girls, William is right. If this, whatever it is, could harm you, it needs to stop immediately. The twins looked at each other, then back at the adults. We know how to be safe, they said. Our mother taught us the limits. But she exceeded those limits herself, William pointed out. A shadow passed over the twins' identical faces. She was alone, Emma said softly. We have each other, Lily added. And now we have you, they concluded. Their amber eyes fixed on William with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. The next few days brought more developments. William could now consciously move both big toes, and sensation had spread to his ankles. Dr. Calloway visited daily, bringing colleagues who specialized in neurology and rehabilitation. Tests confirmed what seemed impossible. Neural pathways were regenerating where none had existed before. The medical team proposed theories. Perhaps the pathways had always been present but dormant. Perhaps William's condition had been misdiagnosed decades ago when imaging technology was less advanced. No one mentioned energy healing or the twins' involvement, though William noticed Dr. Calloway watching the girls with increasing curiosity. Eleanor oversaw the coordination of this growing medical team while maintaining the twins' routine, school lessons with a private tutor, regular meals, appropriate bedtimes. William observed how she had adapted to their presence, learning to distinguish between Lily's slight assertiveness and Emma's quieter demeanor, noting their preferences and adjusting the household accordingly. One evening, a week after the first toe movement, William found Eleanor in the kitchen, preparing the twins' favorite hot chocolate before bedtime. You've become quite attached to them, he observed. Eleanor added a precise amount of cinnamon to each identical mug. They're remarkable children, she said carefully. Whatever is happening with your condition, they deserve stability and care. And you're concerned I'm not providing that, William asked, recognizing the subtle criticism in her tone. Eleanor met his gaze directly. I'm concerned you're focused on results, rather than their welfare. They're children, William, not miracle workers. I've suspended the sessions, he reminded her. I told them this morning we're taking a break. Yes, and they looked exhausted when they came down for breakfast, pale with dark circles under their eyes. Eleanor pushed the mugs toward him. Take these up to them. See for yourself. William found the twins in the library where they often spent evenings reading or drawing. Today they were listless, their usual synchronized movements slightly off-tempo, their copper hair lacking its usual luster. I brought hot chocolate, he said, setting the mugs on the table between them. Thank you, they replied, their unison response weaker than normal. William studied them with growing concern. "You don't look well." The twins sipped their hot chocolate without responding. "Have you been continuing the treatments despite what I said?" he asked directly. They exchanged a glance before nodding slightly. "Why? I specifically asked you to stop." "Because it's working," Emma said simply. "And time matters," Lily added. William frowned. "What do you mean, time matters?" The twins set down their mugs in perfect synchronization. "The longer the pathways sleep, the harder to wake them," they explained together. "We need to finish what we started," Emma continued. "Before the pattern sets again," Lily concluded. William felt conflicted. The progress in his condition was undeniable, miraculous even. Yet looking at the twins' pale faces, he couldn't ignore the cost. "Not at your expense," he said firmly. "I've lived my entire life in this wheelchair. I can continue to do so." The twins shook their heads simultaneously. "We came to help you," they insisted. "It's our purpose," Emma said with a certainty that seemed impossible for a 6-year-old. "We promised our mother," Lily added softly. William wheeled closer to them. "Your mother wouldn't want you to harm yourselves." No parent would. For the first time, he saw uncertainty flicker across their identical faces. "But she said we had to find you," Emma whispered. "She said you needed us," Lily continued, her voice equally small. William reached out, taking one of each twin's hands in his. "Listen to me carefully. I do need you, but not for this. Not if it harms you." The twins looked at him with their strange amber eyes, and for a moment, William thought he saw something shift in their expression. A childlike vulnerability breaking through their usual certainty. "Then why did she send us to you?" they asked together, their voices barely audible. William had no answer, but as he looked at their tired faces, he made a decision. "No more treatments. That's final. Your health is more important than my mobility." He expected resistance, but instead, the twins simply nodded, a weariness beyond their years evident in their slumped shoulders. "Now finish your hot chocolate and get some rest," he said gently. "Eleanor says you have a math lesson tomorrow." As he wheeled himself out of the library, William heard their synchronized voices behind him. It's too late to stop now. Despite William's instructions, the progress continued. Within 2 weeks, he could move both feet at the ankles, and sensation had spread to his knees. The medical team expanded to include specialists from across the country, all eager to document what they were calling a spontaneous neural regeneration. None of their theories adequately explained the phenomenon, especially the accelerated timeline. Meanwhile, the twins grew paler and more lethargic. They maintained their synchronicity, but moved more slowly as if conserving energy. Their tutor reported decreased concentration during lessons. Their appetite diminished. Eleanor implemented a high-calorie diet and enforced afternoon rests, but the decline continued. One morning, as William reviewed medical reports in his office, Eleanor entered without knocking, something she never did. "This has to stop," she said, her professional composure cracking. Emma fainted during breakfast. Lily collapsed seconds later. William set down his tablet immediately. "Where are they now?" "In their beds. Dr. Calloway is examining them." Without waiting for more, William wheeled himself rapidly to the elevator. When he reached the twins' rooms, he found Dr. Calloway checking Lily's pulse, while Emma lay in the adjacent bed, a pulse oximeter on her finger. "What happened?" William demanded. Dr. Calloway looked up, his expression grave. "Both girls show signs of extreme fatigue. Heart rate slightly elevated, blood pressure low. No fever, but their energy levels are concerningly depleted. Is it anemia?" "Infection?" William pressed. The doctor shook his head. "Blood work from last week was normal. This doesn't fit any standard pediatric presentation I'm familiar with." William moved closer to Emma's bed. Her eyes were open but unfocused, her normally vibrant copper hair limp against the pillow. "Emma," he said softly, "can you hear me?" She turned toward his voice. "We're not stopping," she whispered. In the next bed, Lily spoke without turning her head. "Almost there. The pathways are almost complete," they finished together, their synchronized speech now barely audible. Dr. Calloway frowned. "What are they talking about?" William exchanged a glance with Eleanor, who stood in the doorway. "Doctor, I need to speak with you privately." In William's office, he explained everything. The twins' claims about energy healing, their mother's teachings, the nighttime sessions that had apparently continued despite his prohibition. Dr. Calloway listened with growing disbelief. You're suggesting these children are somehow transferring their life energy to regenerate your neural pathways? William, you're a rational man. You built your fortune on technological innovation and scientific advancement. Surely you can't believe this. I don't know what to believe anymore, William admitted. But look at the evidence. My condition is improving rapidly while they deteriorate. The correlation is undeniable. Correlation isn't causation, Dr. Calloway countered automatically. There could be multiple factors at play. Perhaps the girls have an undiagnosed condition that coincidentally manifested now. Then explain how they knew exactly where the neural regeneration would begin. Explain how they predicted the progression pattern before your tests confirmed it. The doctor ran a hand through his graying hair. I can't. But that doesn't mean we should embrace pseudoscience. These girls need proper medical care, not encouragement of magical thinking. I agree about the care, William said firmly. Whatever is happening, their health is paramount. I want them hospitalized if necessary. I'll make arrangements at Stanford Children's, Dr. Calloway agreed. We'll run comprehensive tests. After the doctor left, William returned to the twins' rooms. Eleanor sat between their beds, reading quietly while they slept. She looked up as his wheelchair approached. They're finally resting, she said softly. William studied the girls' identical faces, pale against their pillows. I never wanted this, he said. I never asked them to harm themselves. Perhaps not explicitly, Eleanor replied, her tone gentle but direct. But you welcomed their claims. You allowed this to continue, even knowing the potential cost. I tried to stop them. Did you? Eleanor challenged. Or did you give token resistance while secretly hoping for more progress? The question hit uncomfortably close to the truth. William had been fascinated by the twins' abilities and elated by his improving condition. Had he unconsciously encouraged them despite the risks? We need to end this conclusively, he said after a moment. Whatever they're doing, whatever connection they've established, it needs to be severed. Eleanor nodded. How? I'm not sure yet, but first we need to understand exactly what they're doing. That evening, after the twins had been stabilized with IV fluids and a mild sedative prescribed by Dr. Calloway, William wheeled himself into their room and positioned himself between their beds. I know you can hear me, he said quietly. I need you to explain exactly what you're doing and how to stop it permanently. For several minutes there was no response. Then slowly, both girls opened their eyes, turning to face him with synchronized movements. We're finishing what we started, they said together, their voices weak but determined. At what cost? William pressed. Look at yourselves. You're making yourselves ill. It's temporary, Emma whispered. The transfer is almost complete, Lily added. William leaned forward. Transfer of what exactly? The twins exchanged their silent communication. Life energy, they finally explained together. The spark that makes things grow and move. And you're giving me yours? William asked, horrified at the implication. Not all, Emma assured him. Just enough to wake your pathways, Lily continued. But your mother gave too much and became ill, William reminded them. You told me that yourself. A shadow passed over their identical faces. She was alone, Emma repeated their earlier explanation. We share the burden, Lily added. But it's still too much for children, William insisted. This has to stop now. Tell me how. The twins were silent for a long moment, their amber eyes studying him with an intensity that belied their weakened state. We can't stop, they finally said together. The connection is made. There must be a way, William insisted. Only completion or failure, Emma said softly. If we stop now, the pathways collapse, Lily explained, and our energy is wasted, they concluded in unison. William felt a cold weight settling in his stomach. What happens when it's complete? You walk, they answered simply. And you? He pressed. The twins exchanged another glance. We recover, Emma said. Mostly, Lily added, her voice barely audible. The qualification sent a chill through William. What does mostly mean? Some energy never returns, they explained together. Here's the price. William shook his head firmly. No, I won't accept that. If this continues, I'm having you sedated and moved to a hospital where they can monitor you constantly." For the first time, fear flickered across the twins' identical faces. "No hospitals," they said quickly. "Too many people," Emma explained. "Too much interference," Lily added. "The connection could break badly," they warned together. "Then tell me how to break it safely," William demanded. The twins were silent again, their amber eyes locked in their private communication. Finally, they spoke. "There is a way," Emma began. "But it requires a dream state," Lily continued. "All three connected," they finished together. William frowned. "Connected how?" "We need to be together," Emma explained. "Touching," Lily clarified. "During deep sleep," they concluded. William considered this. "And then what happens?" "We enter the dream space," they said together, "where pathways can be seen. What we connected, we can disconnect," Emma added. "But you'll remain as you are now," Lily warned. "No more progress." William nodded immediately. "I accept that. I've lived 52 years in this wheelchair. I can continue doing so." The twins studied him skeptically. "Are you certain?" they asked in unison. "The pathways are almost complete." "I'm certain," William said firmly. "Your well-being matters more than my mobility." Something shifted in the twins' expressions, a mixture of surprise and what might have been respect. "Tonight then," they agreed. "We'll need to be in your room," Emma said. "Where the connection is strongest," Lily explained. William nodded. "I'll arrange it." Later, as Eleanor helped prepare for this unusual intervention, her skepticism was evident. "You're really going through with this?" Based on the explanation of exhausted 6-year-olds, "Do you have a better suggestion?" William asked. "The medical team has no explanation for their condition or my improvement. We need to try something." Eleanor sighed. "I'll stay and monitor. If either girl shows any signs of distress, I'm calling Dr. Calloway immediately." At midnight, the twins were brought to William's bedroom. Despite their weakness, they insisted on walking rather than being carried. They wore identical white nightgowns, their copper hair braided identically down their backs. William was already in his bed, having transferred from his wheelchair with Eleanor's assistance. "How do we do this?" he asked as the twins approached. "We need to be on either side of you," Emma explained. "Touching your spine," Lily added. With Eleanor's help, the twins climbed onto the large bed and positioned themselves on either side of William. Their small hands moved with surprising confidence, finding specific points along his spine. "Now we sleep," they said together. "Just like that?" Eleanor asked doubtfully. The twins nodded in synchronization. "The connection will do the rest," they assured her. William felt skeptical, but as the twins' hands rested against his back, a strange warmth began to spread through his body. His eyelids grew heavy despite his determination to remain alert. "Eleanor," he murmured, fighting the sudden drowsiness. "If anything seems wrong—" "I'll be right here," she promised, settling into a chair beside the bed. It was the last thing William heard before darkness claimed him. He dreamed of light, brilliant pathways of gold and silver weaving through darkness. Two small figures moved through this landscape, their copper hair glowing like fire. They led him to a complex network of threads that he somehow knew represented his nervous system. Parts glowed brightly, others dimmed to barely visible filaments. "This is you," the twins' voices echoed in the dream space. "See where we've awakened the pathways." William could indeed see. Brilliant golden light had spread from his lower spine down through his legs, nearly complete but not quite reaching his feet. "And this," they continued, directing his attention to two smaller networks of light, "is us." He saw with horror that their lights were dimmed, with golden threads stretching from their networks to his, pulsing with energy that flowed one way only, from them to him. "We need to disconnect these threads," they explained, their dream voices stronger than their physical ones had been, but carefully. As William watched, the twins began a complex process of untangling and severing the golden connections. Each cut sent a shock through his dream body, a painful jolt that made the newly brightened pathways in his legs flicker. "Will this damage me?" he asked in the dream. "No," they assured him, "but what was given cannot be returned. The progress will stop." "I understand," William replied. "Just don't harm yourselves further." The twins continued their work, methodically disconnecting the threads that bound them to William. As the final connections were severed, A wave of loss washed over him, not physical pain but a profound sense of emptiness, as if something essential had been withdrawn. "It's done," the twins said together, their dream forms already looking brighter. "The connection is broken." Then darkness claimed him once more. William woke to morning sunlight and Eleanor gently shaking his shoulder. "William," she said, her voice tense, "the girls are gone." He blinked, disoriented. The twins had been beside him when he fell asleep, their small hands positioned on his back. Now the bed was empty save for himself. "What do you mean, gone?" he demanded, pushing himself up. "I dozed off," Eleanor admitted, her usual composure fractured by worry. "When I woke around 5, they weren't in the bed. I've searched their rooms, the library, the kitchen. They're not in the house." William reached for his wheelchair, transferring himself with practiced movements. "Check the security footage." They couldn't have left the property without triggering alarms. As Eleanor hurried to the security office, William tested his legs. The sensation was still there. He could feel his knees, ankles, feet. But the tingling energy that had been growing stronger each day was gone. When he attempted to move his toes, the response was weaker than the previous day. In the security office, Eleanor was reviewing footage with Jones, the head of security. "There," she said, pointing to a screen showing the rear garden. 4:37 a.m. William wheeled closer. The night vision cameras had captured the twins walking hand in hand across the lawn toward the wooded area at the property's edge. They moved with purpose, their identical white nightgowns ghostly in the infrared lighting. "Why didn't the motion sensors trigger an alert?" William demanded. Jones looked baffled. "They should have, sir. The system shows no malfunctions, but no alerts were generated." "They know about energy," Eleanor said quietly. "Maybe they know about electronic systems too." William dismissed the speculation. "Send the security team to search the woods immediately, and call Dr. Calloway. The girls are in no condition to be wandering around outside." Within 30 minutes, the property's grounds were being systematically searched by security personnel. Dr. Calloway arrived, bringing medical supplies in case the twins were found in a weakened state. Margaret Phillips was notified, arriving with a grim expression and unspoken accusation in her eyes. "How could this happen?" she demanded. "These children were placed in your care, Mr. Thorne." "We're doing everything possible to find them," William assured her, though guilt weighed heavily on him. He had brought the twins into his home with motives that weren't entirely altruistic, had allowed their treatments to continue despite signs of harm, and now they had disappeared under his watch. By noon, the search had expanded to include local police. The twins' photographs were distributed, and officers canvassed the surrounding neighborhoods. William remained in his security office, reviewing footage repeatedly, looking for any clue to where the girls might have gone. Eleanor entered with coffee and a concerned expression. "Any updates?" William shook his head. "Nothing. It's as if they vanished." "William," Eleanor said carefully, "what happened last night? Before you fell asleep?" He described the strange dream, the network of lights, the golden threads connecting the twins to him, the careful disconnection process. "It felt real," he concluded, "and when I woke, the energy in my legs was diminished." Eleanor's expression remained neutral, but he could see she was struggling to reconcile his account with her rational worldview. "Do you think they left because they finished whatever they were doing?" "Possibly," William admitted. "But why leave the property? Where would they go?" The answer came 3 hours later, when a park ranger called. The twins had been found in Henry Cowell Redwood State Park, nearly 20 miles from William's estate. They were sitting in a small clearing, holding hands and apparently meditating. "They seem physically fine," the ranger reported, "but they won't speak to anyone except to ask for Mr. William Thorne." William, Eleanor, Dr. Calloway, and Margaret Phillips drove immediately to the park. They found the twins sitting cross-legged in dappled sunlight beneath towering redwoods. Their identical faces were peaceful, their copper hair gleaming, their color restored. "Girls!" Margaret rushed forward. "Are you all right? What happened?" The twins stood in synchronization, looking past Margaret to William in his wheelchair. "We had to rebalance," they said together. "In nature," Emma explained. "Among the old trees," Lily added. Dr. Calloway moved forward to examine them, but they stepped back in perfect unison. "We're fine now," they assured him. "The connection is properly closed, Emma said. "We're sorry we left without permission," Lily added. "But it was necessary," they finished together. William wheeled closer to them. "You look better." It was true. The pallor and exhaustion that had marked their features for weeks had vanished. Their amber eyes were clear and bright, their postures straight and energetic. "We are better," they confirmed. The trees helped. "Trees are excellent energy sources," Emma explained. As if this were common knowledge. "They've been collecting sunlight for centuries," Lily added. Margaret looked bewildered, while Dr. Calloway's expression suggested he was mentally composing referrals to pediatric psychiatrists. Only Eleanor seemed to be considering the twins' words with serious attention. "Let's get you back home," William said finally. "We've been worried." The twins approached his wheelchair, studying him intently. "You've kept some of it," they observed together. William nodded. "I can still feel my legs, though the movement is weaker today." "That's as it should be," they said with satisfaction. "What was awakened stays awake." "But it won't progress further," Emma clarified. "Without more help," Lily finished. "And that's not happening," William said firmly. "Your health comes first." On the drive back to the estate, the twins sat between Eleanor and Dr. Calloway, explaining their early morning departure with the matter-of-fact certainty that made them so unsettling to many adults. "After we closed the connection, we needed to rebalance," Emma began. "Our mother taught us how," Lily continued. "Find the oldest living things nearby," they recited together. "They've been collecting energy the longest." "So you borrowed energy from trees?" Dr. Calloway asked, his skepticism evident. The twins nodded in perfect synchronization. "Trees don't mind sharing a little," they explained. "They have plenty." William caught Eleanor's eye in the rearview mirror. Her expression suggested she was cataloging this information rather than dismissing it, a response he found surprisingly comforting. If rational, practical Eleanor could keep an open mind, perhaps he wasn't losing his grip on reality. Back at the mansion, Margaret insisted on a full medical examination for the twins. Dr. Calloway complied, performing basic tests while promising more comprehensive evaluation later. To everyone's surprise, the girls' vital signs were perfect. Heart rate, blood pressure, temperature all normal. The lethargy and weakness had completely vanished. "I can't explain it," Dr. Calloway admitted privately to William. "Medically, their recovery makes no sense. Children don't bounce back from severe fatigue this quickly." "Unless their explanation is correct," William suggested. The doctor's expression hardened. "William, I've respected you for years as a rational, scientific mind. Don't tell me you're embracing mysticism because of two precocious children with active imaginations." "I'm considering all possibilities," William replied, as any good scientist should. That evening, after Margaret left with reluctant assurances that she wouldn't immediately report the incident to family services, William called the twins and Eleanor to his study. The girls appeared completely recovered, their movements once again perfectly synchronized, their amber eyes alert and observant. "We need to talk about what happens next," William began. "Today's incident can't be repeated." The twins nodded together. "We understand," they said. "No more leaving without permission," Emma acknowledged. "No more energy work without asking," Lily added. William studied them carefully. "Can I trust you to keep those promises?" The twins exchanged their silent communication before answering. "Yes," they said finally. "The emergency is over." "Emergency?" Eleanor asked. "The connection needed proper closure," Emma explained. "Or it would have continued draining us slowly," Lily continued. "That's why we had to leave immediately," they concluded together. William considered their explanation. "And now? Is everything safe?" The twins nodded in perfect unison. "The pathways we awakened will stay awake," they assured him. "But they won't grow further," Emma clarified. "Without more help," Lily added. "Which isn't happening," they finished together, echoing William's earlier declaration. "Good," William said firmly, "because your well-being matters more to me than walking." Something shifted in the twins' expressions, a subtle softening, a hint of surprise. "You really mean that?" they said, not as a question but a realization. "Of course I do," William replied. "Why would you doubt it?" The twins exchanged another of their silent communications. "Most adults want things from us," Emma said finally. "They don't care about the cost," Lily added. Our mother was the only one who protected us, they concluded together, a shadow passing over their identical faces. William felt a pang of guilt. Hadn't he also wanted something from them? Hadn't he, despite his protests, secretly hoped their treatments would continue? I made that mistake, he admitted. I was so fascinated by what was happening to me that I didn't protect you properly. I'm sorry. The twins studied him with their unsettling amber gaze. You stopped when you understood, they said after a moment. That makes you different. Better, Emma added. Like our mother, Lily finished. Eleanor, who had been silently observing, spoke up. What exactly did your mother teach you about your abilities? The twins turned their synchronized attention to her. That they're both gift and burden, they recited together. She said we could see energy pathways because we were born together, Emma explained. Two minds that think as one, Lily continued. She taught us how to direct energy, Emma said, but warned about giving too much, Lily added. She said we must always protect each other first. They finished in unison. William exchanged a glance with Eleanor. In their strange way, the twins were describing a loving parent who had tried to guide them through their unusual abilities while keeping them safe. Your mother sounds like she was very wise, Eleanor said gently. The twins nodded together, a rare vulnerability crossing their identical faces. She knew we would find you, they said, looking at William. She saw you in a dream, Emma explained. The man in the wheelchair who would stand, Lily continued. She told us to help you, they concluded. It was her last request. William felt a chill at their words. But how could she have known about me? The twins shrugged simultaneously. She saw things sometimes, they said simply, like we do. Later that night, after the twins had gone to bed, William sat with Eleanor in his study. The day's events had exhausted them both, but questions remained that prevented rest. Do you believe them? Eleanor asked finally, breaking the contemplative silence. William considered the question carefully. I believe something extraordinary has happened. Whether it's exactly what they describe, I'm not sure. The timing of their mother's prediction is unsettling, Eleanor noted. How could she have known you would meet the girls at that particular foundation event? Perhaps she didn't, William suggested. Perhaps she simply told them they would someday meet someone in a wheelchair they could help, and they've attached that prediction to me specifically. Eleanor nodded thoughtfully. That would be a more rational explanation. Yet it doesn't explain how they knew details about my house without seeing it, William countered, or how my condition improved precisely as they claimed it would. While they deteriorated, Eleanor added softly. Until today. William wheeled his chair to the window, looking out at the moonlit garden where security personnel still patrolled, searching for explanations of how two small girls had left the property undetected. What happens now? Eleanor asked. William turned back to face her. Now we do what any family would do. We move forward. The word family hung in the air between them, its implications clear. Despite the unusual circumstances, despite his initial scientific curiosity, William had come to care deeply for the twins. They were no longer subjects of interest or even temporary wards. They had become essential to his life. You want to adopt them, Eleanor said. It wasn't a question. William nodded. If they want that too. After today's incident, convincing Margaret and the Foundation won't be easy. But these girls deserve stability, understanding, and protection. I want to provide that. Eleanor studied him with the careful attention she'd developed over 15 years. They've changed you, she observed. And not just physically. William couldn't deny it. The rigid, logical framework through which he'd viewed the world had been irrevocably altered. Is that a bad thing? A smile touched Eleanor's lips, a rare, genuine expression that transformed her professional demeanor. No, she said simply. I think it might be exactly what you needed. The adoption process proved more challenging than William had anticipated. The twins' unauthorized departure from his home had raised serious concerns with child services, and Margaret Phillips recommended terminating the temporary guardianship arrangement. The girls' safety must be our priority, she explained during a tense meeting in William's study. While I understand they were found unharmed, the incident demonstrates a lack of proper supervision. William couldn't argue with her assessment. The twins had indeed left his property without detection, walking miles alone in their nightgowns. That they'd been found safely didn't mitigate the potential dangers they'd faced. "I've increased security measures," he assured Margaret, "and we've had extensive conversations with the girls about boundaries and safety." Margaret remained skeptical. "There's also the matter of their unusual behaviors, the synchronized speech, the claims about energy healing. These children need specialized psychological support." "Which I'm providing," William countered. "Dr. Calloway has arranged consultations with developmental specialists at Stanford. The twins are receiving excellent care." "My concern," Margaret said carefully, "is that your interest in the girls may be connected to their claims about healing your condition. Reports from Dr. Calloway confirm you've experienced some improvement in sensation and mobility." William met her gaze directly. "My interest in Lily and Emma goes far beyond any physical improvements I've experienced. These children need a home where they're understood and accepted, not treated as oddities to be corrected." The meeting ended with Margaret agreeing to maintain the temporary arrangement pending further evaluation. But William knew the path to permanent adoption had become significantly steeper. Meanwhile, life at the mansion settled into a new routine. The twins attended sessions with Dr. Melissa Chen, a child psychologist specializing in trauma and exceptional cognitive development. To everyone's surprise, Dr. Chen found the girls to be remarkably well-adjusted despite their unusual behaviors. Their synchronized speech and movements appear to be a twin-specific adaptation rather than a psychological disorder, she reported after several sessions. And while their beliefs about energy healing are unconventional, they're not delusional in the clinical sense. They function well socially when given appropriate support. William's physical condition stabilized. The sensation in his legs remained, and he could move his feet and ankles with limited control. But the progress had indeed stopped as the twins predicted. Dr. Calloway's team continued to monitor and document his condition, publishing preliminary findings that drew attention from neurological researchers worldwide. They're calling it Thorne phenomenon in medical circles, Dr. Calloway informed him during a checkup. The spontaneous neural regeneration is unprecedented in cases of congenital paralysis. William nodded, accepting the explanation while knowing it was incomplete. The medical establishment would never acknowledge the twins' role in his improvement, nor should they, perhaps. Some truths existed outside the realm of scientific documentation. The most significant change, however, was within the household itself. The twins continued to speak and move in unnerving synchronization, but their presence had transformed the mansion from a showcase of technology and wealth into something William had never expected: a home. They filled the space with drawings, still featuring their strange symbols, but now also depicting the mansion, the garden, William and Eleanor. They requested specific foods for meals, preferred certain books at bedtime, and developed favorite spots for reading and playing. Their tutor reported excellent progress in all subjects, particularly mathematics and art. Eleanor, despite her initial reservations, had become their steadfast advocate. She adjusted her responsibilities to include overseeing the twins' education and activities, coordinating with specialists, and documenting their progress for the pending adoption case. William often found her in the library with the girls, reading stories or helping with homework, her usual professional reserve softened by genuine affection. One evening, as William reviewed adoption paperwork in his study, an anonymous email arrived in his secure personal account. The subject line read simply, "Regarding Catherine Spencer's daughters." William hesitated before opening it. The sender's address was unfamiliar, the timing suspicious given the ongoing adoption proceedings. Finally, curiosity overcame caution. "Mr. Thorne," the message began, "you don't know me, but I worked with Catherine Spencer at Healing Pathways in Berkeley. I've heard through mutual connections that you've taken in her daughters. There are things you should know about Catherine and the twins that won't be in any official records. If you're serious about protecting these children, we should meet. Reply if you're interested. J.M." William forwarded the email to his security team for vetting before composing a careful reply. "I'm interested in any information that would help me understand and care for Lily and Emma. However, I need verification of your identity and relationship to Catherine Spencer before agreeing to a meeting." The response came hours later. along with scanned photographs showing a younger Catherine Spencer with a grey-haired woman outside the Healing Pathways clinic. "My name is Janet Miller. I mentored Catherine when she first discovered her healing abilities. The twins' gifts are rare and valuable, and potentially dangerous if misunderstood. I've been searching for them since Catherine's passing. Meet me tomorrow at the Berkeley Botanical Gardens, 2 p.m., near the Redwood Grove. Come alone." William's security team advised against the meeting, but after consulting with Eleanor, he decided to proceed with precautions. The following day, with security personnel discreetly positioned throughout the gardens, William wheeled himself to the designated meeting spot. Janet Miller was older than he expected, perhaps in her 70s, with silver hair pulled into a neat bun and alert eyes that assessed him carefully as he approached. "Mr. Thorne," she greeted him. "Thank you for coming." "You said you have information about the twins," William replied, dispensing with pleasantries. Janet nodded. "Catherine was my student for 7 years. She had remarkable healing abilities, not the pseudo-scientific nonsense you see on television, but genuine energy manipulation. When the twins were born, we recognized immediately that they were special." "Special how?" William asked, though he already knew. "Twin healers are extremely rare," Janet explained. "Their synchronized neural patterns create a unique energy field that amplifies their abilities exponentially. Catherine dedicated her life to training them safely, teaching them to protect themselves while helping others." William studied the elderly woman carefully. "If you were so involved in their lives, why didn't you come forward when Catherine died?" "The girls were alone for days before authorities found them." Pain flashed across Janet's features. "I was in Japan working with practitioners there. By the time I returned and learned what had happened, the twins had entered the system. I've been searching ever since, but bureaucracy moves slowly." "What do you want from me?" William asked directly. "I want to ensure the girls are with someone who understands what they are," Janet replied. "Someone who won't exploit their abilities or treat them as freaks. From what I've heard, you've experienced their healing firsthand." William neither confirmed nor denied this. "My only interest is in providing Lily and Emma with a stable, loving home." Janet's gaze was penetrating. "Is it? You're a wealthy, powerful man accustomed to solving problems with money and technology. These children offered you something all your resources couldn't buy. Are you certain your motives are entirely selfless?" The question echoed Eleanor's earlier concerns, touching a vulnerability William rarely acknowledged. "My motives when I first met them were complicated," he admitted. "But they've changed me, and not just physically." Janet seemed to assess the truth of his words before continuing. "The twins have only begun to manifest their abilities. As they grow, their power will increase. They'll need guidance from someone who understands." "Someone like you?" William suggested. "Ideally, yes," Janet confirmed. "I propose a compromise. Allow me to visit regularly to help train the girls. In return, I'll support your adoption petition with testimony about Catherine's wishes for her daughters." William considered the offer. Having Janet's support could significantly strengthen his case, especially given the concerns raised after the twins' unauthorized departure. Yet something about her proposal felt off, a hint of agenda beneath the reasonable exterior. "The twins haven't mentioned you," he noted. "If you were so important in their lives, wouldn't they have asked about you?" Janet's expression tightened slightly. "Catherine and I had differences of opinion in the last year before her passing. She may have limited my contact with the girls." "What kind of differences?" William pressed. "Professional disagreements about how their abilities should be developed," Janet replied, her tone cooling. "Catherine became overprotective, refusing reasonable training opportunities." The phrase "training opportunities" triggered William's suspicion. "You wanted to use their abilities more actively." Catherine refused. Janet's silence confirmed his assessment. "The girls mentioned their mother helped someone walk again like me," William continued. "They said it weakened her significantly." "Was that your idea?" Janet's composure slipped further. "Their abilities are gifts meant to be used." Catherine was limiting their potential out of fear. "Yes, there are energy costs to healing, but with proper management, the risks are minimal." The twins said their mother's illness followed that healing, William noted. That she gave too much of herself. "A dramatic oversimplification," Janet dismissed. "Catherine had underlying health issues. The healing may have exacerbated them, but it wasn't the cause." William had heard enough. Thank you for meeting me, Miss Miller. I'll consider your offer. Janet leaned forward. Mr. Thorne, don't make an enemy of me. I know people in the adoption system. One word about your experimentation with the twins' abilities could end your petition immediately. Are you threatening me? William asked quietly. I'm suggesting a mutually beneficial arrangement, Janet corrected. The twins need proper training. You need support for your adoption case. And perhaps you'd like to see what else they might do for your condition? The last suggestion confirmed William's worst suspicions. The twins will receive all the support they need, he said firmly, but not from someone who sees them as tools to be used rather than children to be protected. Janet's expression hardened. You've made a mistake today, Mr. Thorne. Those children are wasted under your care. As William wheeled away, he activated the recording device in his wheelchair. Preserving Janet's threat for potential legal use, the encounter had been unsettling, but also illuminating. Catherine Spencer hadn't simply been teaching her daughters about energy healing. She'd been protecting them from those who would exploit their abilities. When William returned to the mansion, he found Eleanor and the twins in the garden, planting sunflowers in a newly prepared bed. The girls moved in perfect synchronization, patting soil around the seedlings while reciting care instructions in their unified voice. They need both sun and water, Emma was saying, but not too much of either, Lily continued. Balance is important. They finished together. William watched them for a moment, struck by the normalcy of the scene despite its subtle strangeness. When they noticed his presence, both girls looked up simultaneously, their amber eyes assessing him with uncanny perception. You met someone who knew our mother, they said. It wasn't a question. William nodded, no longer surprised by their intuition. Yes, a woman named Janet Miller. The twins exchanged their silent communication. She taught our mother, Emma acknowledged. But they argued, Lily added. About us, they concluded together. Did you like meeting her? Eleanor asked, brushing soil from her hands. William considered his answer carefully. It was informative, but I don't think we'll be seeing her again. Relief flickered across the twins' identical faces. Good, they said together. She wanted too much. That evening, William had his legal team begin preparing documentation of Janet Miller's implied threats, creating contingency plans in case she attempted to interfere with the adoption process. He also initiated a more thorough investigation into Catherine Spencer's final months, seeking to understand exactly what had happened to the twins' mother. 2 weeks later, as the adoption hearing approached, Dr. Calloway arrived for William's regular evaluation with unexpected news. We've identified a genetic component to your condition, he announced, displaying scans on his tablet. A rare mutation affecting neural signal transmission. It's not a complete explanation for your improvement, but it suggests your paralysis wasn't as irreversible as previously thought. William studied the images with interest. Meaning? Meaning the neural pathways were intact but dormant, Dr. Calloway explained. Something, possibly the experimental treatments, possibly stress factors, possibly even psychological elements, triggered their reactivation. It's still remarkable, but it gives us a scientific framework. William thought of the twins' words from months ago. You're blocked, not broken. They had known somehow what medical science was only now discovering. This mutation, William asked, is it treatable? Dr. Calloway nodded cautiously. Potentially. Now that we've identified it, targeted therapies could possibly extend the improvements you've experienced. It would be experimental but promising. William considered this news carefully. The possibility of further recovery without risking the twins' well-being was tempting. Yet he found himself less excited than he would have expected months ago. His perspective had shifted. Walking was no longer his primary goal. I'll consider it, he told Dr. Calloway, but first, we have an adoption hearing to prepare for. The day of the hearing arrived with tense anticipation. William had secured the best family law attorney in California, prepared comprehensive documentation of the twins' progress under his care, and gathered expert testimonials from Dr. Chen and other specialists. Yet uncertainty remained, especially after Janet Miller filed a last-minute objection, claiming a pre-existing relationship with the children that granted her standing in the case. In the courthouse hallway, William waited with Eleanor and the twins, who wore identical blue dresses with white collars. They showed no outward anxiety, their expressions serene as they sat perfectly still on either side of William's wheelchair. "Are you nervous?" he asked them quietly. They turned to him with synchronized movements. "No," they answered together. "You're our family now," Emma said simply. "The judge will see that," Lily added with certainty. When they entered the courtroom, William was surprised to see Judge Sandra Martinez presiding, a jurist known for her skepticism toward wealth-influencing adoption proceedings. As the hearing began, she made her position clear. "Mr. Thorne, while your resources are impressive, this court's primary concern is the children's welfare. Your temporary guardianship has included one serious incident where the children left your property unsupervised. Why should I believe you can provide appropriate care?" William's attorney began a carefully prepared response, but William interrupted, addressing the judge directly. "Your Honor, if I may speak personally?" Judge Martinez nodded, her expression stern but attentive. "When Lily and Emma first came into my life, I was a different person," William began. "I measured success by wealth, technological innovation, and control. These children have taught me what truly matters: connection, understanding, and putting others' needs before my own." The judge's expression remained neutral. "Many prospective parents make eloquent speeches, Mr. Thorne. I understand your skepticism," William acknowledged. "So let me be concrete. I've established a trust for the twins' education and health care that operates independently from my personal assets. I've hired specialists recommended by Stanford Children's Hospital to support their unique developmental needs. Most importantly, I've created a family council that includes professionals who can override my decisions if they believe I'm not acting in the girls' best interests. This last measure, suggested by Eleanor and implemented despite William's initial resistance, seemed to catch the judge's attention. "That's unusual," she noted. "These are unusual children, Your Honor," William replied. "They deserve extraordinary care and protection." Judge Martinez turned her attention to the twins. "Lily, Emma, I'd like to speak with you privately in my chambers." The twins rose in perfect synchronization, following the judge without hesitation. As the door closed behind them, William exchanged a nervous glance with Eleanor. "They'll be fine," she assured him quietly. "They know their own minds." 40 minutes later, the longest 40 minutes of William's life, the judge and twins returned. Judge Martinez's expression had softened noticeably, though she maintained her professional demeanor as she returned to the bench. "Having reviewed all evidence and spoken with the children, I'm ready to rule," she announced. Ms. Miller's objection is overruled due to insufficient documentation of her relationship with the children. As for the petition itself, William held his breath. "While there are unconventional aspects to this case, I find that Mr. Thorne has demonstrated genuine commitment to these children's welfare. The incident where the children left the property has been addressed with appropriate security measures. Most compelling is the children's own testimony. They have clearly formed a significant attachment to Mr. Thorne and Ms. Reed, who appears to be an essential support figure in this family unit." The judge made eye contact with William. "The petition for adoption is granted, with quarterly reviews for the first year to ensure continued appropriate care." Relief washed over William as the twins turned to him with identical smiles, a rare, full expression that transformed their serious faces. Eleanor squeezed his shoulder, her professional composure momentarily overcome by emotion. "Thank you, Your Honor," William said, his voice uncharacteristically rough. As they left the courthouse, the twins walked on either side of William's wheelchair, their steps perfectly matched to his pace. Eleanor followed, already making calls to arrange the celebration William had planned in case of success. "Well," William said to the twins as they reached the car, "it's official now. How do you feel?" The twins looked at him with their unsettling amber gaze, now familiar and comforting rather than strange. "Complete," they answered together. "Our mother said we would find our new family," Emma explained. "She said you needed us as much as we needed you," Lily added. She was right, they concluded in unison. 6 months later, William hosted a small gathering to celebrate both the successful adoption and a significant announcement regarding Thorncore. The mansion's terrace overlooked Silicon Valley's lights as evening fell, creating a backdrop for an intimate dinner with the company's board members, Eleanor, the twins, and a few close Associates. The twins had continued to thrive. Their synchronized speech and movements remained, but no longer seemed unsettling to those who knew them well. Dr. Chen's reports documented exceptional cognitive development along with improved social integration. They still drew their strange symbols, still spoke of energy pathways. But these behaviors were now understood as part of who they were, rather than problems to be solved. William's physical condition had stabilized with partial mobility in his legs, enough to stand briefly with support but not to walk independently. Dr. Calloway's team had developed a treatment protocol based on their genetic findings, with promising preliminary results, but William had chosen to proceed cautiously, prioritizing time with the twins over intensive medical interventions. As dinner concluded, William tapped his glass for attention. "Thank you all for coming tonight. I have an important announcement regarding Thorncore's future." The board members leaned forward attentively. As founder and CEO, William rarely made unexpected announcements. Effective next month, I will be stepping down as CEO to focus on my family and the Thorn Foundation's new initiatives, supporting children with exceptional abilities. He gestured to Eleanor. "Ms. Reed has agreed to serve as interim CEO, while the board conducts a formal search for my replacement." Surprise rippled through the gathering. Eleanor, who had been briefed privately, maintained her professional composure, despite the significant promotion. The board members exchanged concerned glances. William had been the driving force behind Thorncore's innovation and growth. "This isn't a decision I've made lightly," William continued, "but recent experiences have shifted my priorities. I'll remain on the board and continue to advise on strategic direction, but my daily focus will be elsewhere." After fielding questions and reassuring key stakeholders, William found himself alone on the terrace with Eleanor and the twins. The girls were examining the night sky, pointing out constellations in their synchronized way. "Are you sure about this?" Eleanor asked quietly. "Thorncore has been your life's work." William watched the twins, who were now tracing matching patterns in the air as they mapped celestial objects. "It was," he agreed, "but now I have something more important." Eleanor followed his gaze. "They've changed you profoundly." "For the better," William said. "Though I'm still the same impossible boss, I imagine." A smile touched Eleanor's lips. "Less impossible lately. More human." "Is that a compliment or a criticism?" William asked lightly. "An observation," she replied, "and a welcome one." The twins approached, their movements perfectly mirrored. "We have something to show you," they announced together. From their identical dress pockets, they produced a folded paper, the drawing they had given William during their first meeting, now framed in simple wood. It still showed his mansion with 3 figures in front, him standing and the twins beside him. But they had added details: butterflies circling the figures, trees surrounding the house, and a 4th figure standing slightly apart, a woman with Eleanor's precise posture. "Our family complete," the twins said together. William studied the drawing, noting how they had captured Eleanor's reserved warmth and their own solemn expressions. But most striking was how they had drawn him, standing without support, one hand on each twin's shoulder. "It's beautiful," he said, "but I'm still using the wheelchair most of the time." The twins exchanged their cryptic glance. "For now," they said together. "The pathways are still awakening," Emma explained. "Slowly but surely," Lily added. "And we're getting stronger," they finished in unison. William felt a familiar chill. "We agreed, no more treatments. Your health comes first." The twins smiled their identical smiles. "We know the safe way now," they assured him. "Our mother showed us in a dream." Emma said. "After we became your daughters," Lily continued. "She said we can help without giving too much," they explained together. William exchanged a glance with Eleanor, who looked equally concerned. "Girls, we've discussed this. I'm content with things as they are." "We know," they acknowledged, "but healing was our gift before we met you." "It's part of who we are," Emma said. "Like our synchronized speech," Lily added. "Would you ask us to stop being ourselves?" They challenged gently. The question gave William pause. From the beginning, he had insisted that the twins be accepted as they were, unusual behaviors, strange beliefs, and all. Could he now deny this fundamental aspect of their identity? "We're careful now," they promised. "We balance with the trees." "And we have a family to protect us," Emma added. "Like our mother wanted," Lily finished. Eleanor placed a hand on William's shoulder. "Perhaps we should listen to what they're proposing," she suggested. "With proper monitoring and boundaries." William looked at the drawing again, the family portrayed with such confidence and hope. He had learned to question his assumptions, to consider possibilities beyond his rational framework, to trust these extraordinary children who had entered his life so unexpectedly. "We'll discuss it," he agreed finally. Together as a family. The twins nodded in synchronization, satisfaction evident in their amber eyes. They turned back to the night sky, once again tracing matching patterns in the air. Eleanor remained beside William's wheelchair, her presence solid and reassuring. "Whatever happens," she said quietly, "they've already given you something more valuable than walking." William nodded, watching the twins illuminate their invisible patterns with the flashlights from their identical phones. "They've taught me to stand for what matters," he agreed, "with or without the wheelchair." As the twins continued their synchronized stargazing, William felt a profound sense of completion.